Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Legacy, the podcast where we delve into the stories that shape our lives and the lessons we carry forward. I'm your host, Cedric D. Nelson, and I'm excited to embark on this journey of discovery, growth, and inspiration with you. Whether you're seeking motivation, guidance, or simply a moment of reflection, Life, Lessons, and Legacy is here to accompany you on your quest for fulfillment and purpose. So sit back, open your mind, and let's embark on this transformative journey together. I am honored to have a guest, Miss Felicia Walker, financial consultant, and many other titles that she also carries.
I'm Felicia Higgs Walker. I am from Memphis, Tennessee, graduate of Whitehaven High School, class of 91. They always like me to say that. Personally, it is truly to get to a space where I'm just the best version of myself. You talk about life lessons, and I have learned a lot. I will be 51 on my birthday, and I've learned a lot. And I just want to make sure that I'm not repeating the same mistakes and that my children are watching me and that when I leave this earth that they're like, man, our mom really, she was a great woman. Professionally, it is to help as many people as possible, whether that is with their emotions, whether that is with their jobs or their families or their money, whatever it is to reach as many people as possible and impact as many lives as I can. I came out as a social worker. I'm helping people. I'm like, oh, I'm living, doing what I'm supposed to do, walking in my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I probably came out making about 27, maybe 30.
Mm-hmm.
But my colleagues who majored in like engineering and transportation and logistics
Mm-hmm.
came out and their starting salaries were 80 and 90. The name of my book is Paid on Friday, Broke by Tuesday, The Pathway to Unstoppable Success. And the book is about how I was able to double and then triple my salary on the job by all the things that I did with interviewing, networking, and navigating my workspace. So the story goes in 2017, I was laid off from a six-figure job. I was a pharma rep, and I ended up taking a 60% pay cut. Ooh, it was 40,000, $22 an hour, 40,000, roughly $40,000 a year. And it was tough. It was dark. And I was making $700 a week. And out of $700 a week, you can barely pay two bills out of that, right?
Right.
And so there was a moment where I wasn't able to afford to buy grocery for my children. And that was the breaking moment for me. I call them broken moments. And so that was that moment that turned everything around for me. And I went back to work the next day, just different, doing different things, acting different, volunteering for different stuff. And in 18 months, I was able to earn my first promotion. I doubled my salary at that point. Did that for about 9 months, and I said, "Let me get back to this pharma, okay? Because
That's where the money is.
that's what the money is." And so, within 2 months of making that decision, I had two job offers, and I returned back into the industry, which with about $140,000 salary.
Okay.
And so, and in that time, during that time when I wasn't making a lot of money, I was able to save and build a emergency fund. And so that's what a lot of media outlets want to talk about because that's what people need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is the book. People are enjoying the book. And yeah, so I'm excited. And like you, I feel like it's something that I'll be able to leave for my children, right? It's one of those things that just keeps going. It's here now
Yep.
and it's never going away. The biggest life lesson, and I tell myself this every day now, is I deserve to be in the room. I don't care who you are. And that's one thing when I teach people about networking and networking up to with your vice presidents and directors at your job. They have to put their pants on one leg at a time, like you.
Mm-hmm.
If they are a young father, they have to go to a soccer game just like you after work. They have to
Yep.
get up on Saturday morning if it's a mom and she has babies or small children. She has to get up and cut orange slices just like you. It's
Mm-hmm.
stressful. It's not
Mm-hmm.
easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I deserve to be in the same rooms with those people or people who are levels above me, and that my voice matters. So not only do I deserve to be there, but I have something to say.
Today, my guest is Dr. Clayton.
I'm a native Memphian. I recently a couple of years ago moved to Dallas Fort Worth. I have a bachelor's degree in biology from Lemoyne College. My master in curriculum is from Freed Hardeman University, and I have my doctorate from Tennessee State University. I have also been certified as a turnaround leader with Southern Regional Education Board, as well as an internship I did at Harvard in the summer for their principals program. So I have a lot of knowledge in that area, but God has definitely blessed me to segue, take those skills, like you say, from the things that I've learned in my life to move over to business funding and also helping teachers, specifically Black male teachers, move to entrepreneurship. People's willingness to step out on faith, Cedric, honestly. We talk, we're from Memphis, the Bible Belt, just in that community, and we talk a lot about faith, and God will supply all our needs according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. However, our actions don't align with that. So, Paul said, faith without works is dead. So you have to pursue those things. And you have to trust God. So that's the biggest thing that I see is people say, hey, especially since I'm having more of a presence on social media, people say, hey, I'm this and I'm that, but it's like the actions or don't align with that. So I think just stepping out on faith is important. Well, right now, my goal is to help 300 Black male teachers move to entrepreneurship. And so one of the projects I'm working on in the next 2 weeks is to start a real estate investment seminar for teachers to show them how to buy property with little to no money down. I own property in Memphis, as well as here in Dallas, Fort Worth. And I've been able to acquire those properties, and it has significantly added to my cash flow. Just coming from Robert Kiyosaki, learning how to use leverage appropriately so that you can build your portfolio of assets and truly recognizing the difference between an asset and a liability.
My guest today is Dr. Stephanie Barnes.
I'm originally from Millington. Of course, that's where the naval base used to be located. I was born in Arlington, but later moved to Millington. I currently now live in Brownsville, Tennessee. Um, I am the oldest of two children. Actually, it's a 21-year age difference between me and my brother. Um, I have an amazing, intelligent, handsome, awesome 16-year-old son named Josiah. And I am divorced, of course. However, I feel like the most important thing about me is that I am definitely a person that takes pride in all that I do, any and everything that I do. So when people talk about who are you and what do what do you want people to know about you, that's definitely something I want people to know. That if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to do it 110%. I was in the process of obtaining my doctorate. I was diagnosed with neuroendocrine cancer,
Okay.
which is very rare. It's a very rare cancer. I literally had to research because the moment they told me, I'm thinking, well, what is that?
Right.
Of course, my mom passed while I was obtaining my doctorate. So, oh my goodness, how many days I wanted to just give up and say, I do not have the physical nor mental strength to continue with this. Um, but one thing that stays with me, my mom was placed on hospice, and I was standing at her bed at the hospital. And of course, that's your mom. So I'm just bawling, crying, and, because I knew her time was coming to an end. And she could barely talk. And she looked at me and I was like, Mom, what's wrong? Because I thought she was in pain, and I said, what's wrong? And she whispered with a whisper, proud. And I just, Mama, what are you saying? Because I'm about to get the doctors and nurses, like, what's going on? And she said, proud. And I said, proud to her. And she nodded yes. And then she pointed her finger at me.
The single most inspirational person in your life, past or present?
Oh, I have three. So,
I'll take all
uh,
three. Yeah.
of course, Josiah, my son, he's present. He's definitely inspiration to me, regardless of what happens in life. I know I owe him to be the best me. So even when I think I'm just not doing, I'm just tired, I'm this, I'm that, I then think about him and think, well, he did not ask to be my son.
Right.
It wasn't a request.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I chose to have a child, and thank God it's him, but I owe that to him. So he definitely inspires me. And of course, past again would be my mom and my grandmother. My grandmother, oh my goodness, she was an amazing woman. I always tell my cousins I was her favorite. They said, well, everybody was her favorite, but I'd be like, no, she really told me that I was her favorite.
Right.
Uh,
You want to
she was an
clarify?
amazing woman. Yeah, when she passed, I always tell people a part of me went with her. That she was an amazing woman. And again, I have to go back to my mom, which I cannot even begin to say. My mom had me when she was 17 years old.
Okay.
So my mom did not finish high school. I remember days where we didn't have enough food to eat. So, and I look back on it and think, wow, because my mom, when I would get home from school, my mom would say, oh, I'm not hungry. I ate at work.
Yeah.
Or, oh, my stomach is just hurting. I don't think I'm gonna eat dinner tonight. Not knowing then she didn't eat because it was not enough for two people. It was only enough for one. And she chose to give it to me. My mom was in a very abusive relationship at one point with a man that literally would beat her in front of me. And I think that was something that I had to overcome, even in my adult life, was trusting a male, because my thought process was males hurt women, because that's what I had seen. So that was something that I had to overcome, but my mom would protect me at all cost. So she's definitely, definitely a inspiration. And, for all that she overcame. I went when I was younger, because the man that my mom was in a relationship with lived in another district from the school that I was going to. I went to these two schools. I would be in one school for 2 months because my mom break up with them. They'll get back together. Then I'm in the other school for 6 months. She'll break up with. I go back. I go back to the point where the kids, when I walked into class, they was like, "Oh, she's bad." Literally. So I struggled because I was going back and forth so much. And a teacher had requested my mom come to the school for a meeting. And I'll never forget, I think I was like in the 6th grade, and we were sitting at the table, and she told my mom, she said, now, Stephanie's very smart. We enjoy having her, but um, due to the circumstances, and these were her words, due to the circumstances, I just want to be honest and say that she will probably never succeed because,
Wow.
back and forth, she's between school. So I don't see how she can succeed. So we want to provide additional help to you, talking to my mom. And my mom looked at her and, she said a few choice words. uh, my mom looked at her and said a few choice words, and she said, Stephanie will succeed. I will make sure if it kills me, she will succeed. And she said, let's go. So there I went behind my mama after school. But again, you think about those things, and, sometimes I brag now to people. I be like, well, they did not expect me to succeed, but I went from bachelor's to master's to doctorate. I mean, what else, and I often wish I could go back to the teacher and say, remember that conversation, remember you said I was not going to succeed. So, but those are inspirations in my life, and I've met people throughout the years, Cedric, that has definitely played a huge part. in my life as well. You know, I feel like if I'm going to have a relationship with someone, friendship, whether it's a coworker or whomever, you have to put in to something. If you're not putting in and you're taking out, it's useless to me. You know, that's like a bank account. If I'm continuing to take out and not put in, eventually it's going to become empty.
Yep.
So I do not want people in my life that does not put in. I don't. I just don't want that.
My guest today is Dr. Kendrick Savage.
My background, of course, I grew up in Oxford, Mississippi, the Fayette County stand up. Had to say that.
Yeah.
So I went to the University of Mississippi. I got my Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics, and then I have a master's degree in mathematics from Mississippi State. I have another master's degree in teaching from Mississippi State, and then a PhD in mathematics education from Mississippi State. So Hell State. You're going to need to be this in order to get to where you're trying to go. Like, yeah, you can make a B and get out of this class, but getting out of this class is not the only thing you're trying to do. You're trying to go on and become whatever it is you're trying to become, which represents greatness. So, you know, TD Jakes has his quote, "Effort is the bridge between mediocrity and masterful accomplishment." And so that's something that I really believe. Effort. You got to put it in. If your results are mediocre, let me look at your effort. You know, is your effort inclined toward masterful accomplishment, or is it inclined toward mediocrity? And I think that's what she was trying to really get me to understand. You got to push toward excellence, you know, and so it changed my life.
Yeah, and I'm sure it did, because again, it makes you start like, okay, maybe I am special. You know, you start kind of believing in yourself, and then you don't want to disappoint them. You don't want to turn in a B or C, you know, paper. It's like, my effort is terrible. She's going to tell me about it, first of all, and I'm going to feel horrible, because here it is. I have someone outside of my home who believes in me. Yeah, that is crazy. So my next question, so what life lessons do you think you've learned? And even from that ninth grade teacher? I mean, just overall in life.
Man, so many lessons. You're gonna fall, but can you get back up? Show me the person that gets back up over and over and over again, and I'll show you the person that makes it to the finish line. They may make it to that finish line dusty, you know, clothes ripped up, hair messed up, but they made it. And that's all that matters. And so that's, to be honest with you, that's the biggest lesson, because a lot of people look at Dr. Savage and they have no idea how much I failed in the beginning, how much, you know, the things I got held back on. They don't see that. Or as we say, you know, people see the glory, but they don't know your story.
Exactly.
You know, so it's a lot of lessons, but that's one of my most impactful lessons of my life.
I like that. I'm going to use that because, like you said, that's one of the things. People see your success, but they don't see the 2 a.m.s. They don't see the, you know, I did all this work and it still didn't work out. My proposal was rejected, or you know, I tried to save my money and I tried to financial literacy and something came, a car broke down, I had to spend. You know, they don't see the struggling college student, the struggling person when you first come out of college. Because I tell people, when I was in high school, I had no financial literacy. When I got in college, I really had no financial literacy. And when I left college, I had less financial literacy than I did when I got there. You know, I had just surviving. And so you learn, but again, like you said, it's kind of that growth. Nobody sees the beginning. Everybody just sees, okay, man, you're successful now, man. Oh man, it must have always been that way. Like you weren't always Dr. Savage. I wasn't always who I am now. Like, but people, and I think that's what makes it easy for people to ask for stuff, or to just want you to give them stuff, because all they see is your success. Again, they don't see the 2 a.m.s or the times you're looking at the window like, I don't even know if this worth being here. You know, they don't see that.
Yeah, and you'll understand this analogy. Sometimes I tell when we were growing up and we would make that big pitcher of Kool-Aid, right? You pour that sugar in there. Now, when you were little, most kids want that last bit of Kool-Aid. because that's where all the sugar is.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell students there's something about that feeling of coming from the bottom
Mm-hmm.
or that feeling of getting knocked down and feeling like you're at the bottom of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because the greatest ingredients are sometimes at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
When you get knocked down, you got to learn how to get back up. You got to learn tenacity. You got to learn perseverance. You have to learn, mental agility.
Mm-hmm.
At the bottom are the greatest ingredients for your life. So don't despise getting knocked down.
Mm-hmm.
Understand you're about to come upon the greatest ingredients to help you to propel where you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to go.
Yeah.
So that getting back up, you got to get back up. And when you get back up, you're not just getting back up, you're getting back up with a cape on. So,
Mm-hmm.
you got to understand that.
Yeah. And I agree. I tell people all the time, life, even with my kids, my kids a little bit older, 18 and 20. So I tell them all the time, I always giving all this advice. Like I'm literally, I'm sure sometimes they're like, oh my God, this guy, they go another life story or, but I'm just trying to tell them like, baby, I'm trying to tell you guys. So I'm trying to teach you so the life doesn't have to teach you. The life's going to teach you anyway. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Life Lessons and Legacy. I hope you found our discussion thought-provoking and inspiring. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback helps us to improve and reach more listeners like you. Remember, life is a journey of growth and discovery, and every experience, both the highs and the lows, contributes to the legacy we leave behind. So embrace each moment, cherish the lessons, and live with purpose. You can find more resources, including my book, Life Lessons and Legacy, How to Take Life's Lessons and Shape Your Legacy. Available for purchase on my website at www.lifelessonsandlegacy.com. Also available on Amazon.com. On my website, you'll also discover information about my life coaching services and speaking engagements designed to help you unlock your full potential and live a life full of purpose. I'm Cedric D. Nelson. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon.